ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Dish Yelter Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
What's up? Do you know what? This is a beautiful Thursday night, sir.
Because it's the first time in 3 weeks that we've had our Thursday Night Hangout.
Yes, because I can see on my G-Chat, on the last time you called me was February 9th. So
Yes.
It's been a while, sir.
Yes. February. It's been a month? Holy cow.
I don't know what was February 16th. Oh, yes, February 16th. I was getting ready for robotics.
Yep.
The next week, I was in Colorado. Maybe? I don't know.
Whatever. Anyways, it's been a while.
Life happened.
Yes, life has happened. Actually, you know what? It has been a month because it was my bad because we had some construction done at the house. And so the whole basement was ripped up. And then it was your robotics. Then you were in wherever you were.
Yeah, I remember seeing a screenshot of like construction at some point in life.
Yeah. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this, of course, is the Thursday Hangout. It's a live show where we try our best to cover the topics most important to you during the show. If at any point you do have a question, a comment, or an opinion that you would like to add to the show, all you got to do is drop it into the chat window. If we do, unfortunately, run out of time, we will add it to that topic or question to the very next Thursday Night Hangout. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. All right, so the first one is kind of, this is kind of like a now ongoing topic, and that is that as technology, of course, has been improving, certain things have definitely started to get into the legal realm, and that, of course, is AI technologies. There, of course, are voice actors who are basically rallying to basically say, hey, if you hear my voice, it's something that it sounds a little bit sketchy. That's not me. Please report it, because you've got people, AI programs that are able to, match people's voices and add those voices to said whatevers.
I mean, according to every spy movie ever, this has been around for like 40 years now, sir.
Yes, but now it's
you collect like 10 syllables from the big CEO, and all of a sudden you can hack any system in the world.
No, you just got to get all the keywords. My passcode is butterflies go on vacation.
Ooh.
Which, by the way, that is not my passcode. I don't know.
How did you know my password, sir?
I don't know. Anyways, so so AI technology, but the latest thing is that Paizo, which is the company behind Pathfinder and Starfinder, have decided to rework their contracts for freelancers. So, when they do like art commissions, or they do like campaign or story commissions, they want to honor the amount of blood, sweat, and tears that humans put into creating their product. So if you try to give them an AI created thing, that's a big no-no.
What is their definition of AI created?
Let me see here. I'm going to pull up the article real quick here so I can make sure.
I know we kind of touched on this a little while ago, but it's kind of the idea of, Photoshop can do a lot of stuff auto-magically for you.
Right.
So it's kind of like, when do you, I think as time goes on, I think it'll become a more and more blurry gray area as far as what does that actually mean.
Right.
Is the only pure art form is if you're drawing it on a piece of watercolor paper?
I don't know, but here's what they basically said. Over the last few months, the world has seen a huge upsurge in interest, use, and quality of algorithm-generated imagery and text. Since we launched the company in 2002, Paizo has made its reputation with the assistance of countless traditional artists and writers who are just as integral to the success of our games as our in-house editors, art directors, designers, and developers. The ethical and legal issues surrounding AI art and writing prompt programs and the serious threat they pose to the livelihoods of partners who have helped us get to where we are as a company, as we are today as a company, demand that we take a firm position against the use of this technology in Paizo products. In the coming days, Paizo will add new language to its creative contracts that stipulate that all work submitted to us for publication be created by a human. We will further add guidance to our Pathfinder and Starfinder Infinite Program FAQs, clarifying that AI-generated content is not permitted on either community content marketplaces. Our customers expect a human touch to our releases, and so long as the ethical and legal circumstances surrounding these programs remains murky and undefined, we are unwilling to associate our brands with the technology in any way. Stated plainly, when you buy a Paizo product, you can be sure that it is the work of human professionals who have spent years honing their craft to produce the best work we can. Paizo will not use AI-generated creative work of any kind for the foreseeable future. We thank the human artists and writers who have been so integral to our success in the past, and we look forward to working with them for many years to come.
So on your phone, when you use a filter, is that AI?
No, because if it's your original art, okay, because see, now you're getting me into that gray area of why that artist got blackballed from all of the anime conventions, because he was stealing other people's work and putting filters on. But if it's your own work and then you're applying, like a glossy filter to it, you still put in all that time to create that image. You're just basically, adding some After Effects to spruce it up or whatever. It'd be
I disagree. I think it's AI still. It's if you're applying anything that you are now using a third-party algorithm to completely affect your artwork.
All right.
I think it is now AI.
If you want to go down that rabbit hole, Zealeus, then all work, all written work has to be done, has to be edited by humans. You're not allowed to use spell check or Grammarly or any of those programs because it's AI fed to try to find an algorithm for better wording.
Well, I would argue it the way that the Pathfinder company, Pathos, states it. I would argue that's exactly what they're saying, which is why I don't necessarily agree with the way they word it, because of that exact reason.
Well, I mean...
Because you are right. Like, I know you are 100% right. Like, when you're using Grammarly, you're using artificial intelligence to definitely rewrite, for some people, a not insignificant amount of your work.
Right. No, and I think... Right. It would be very interesting to see what the actual legalese is. I'm sure that they probably are taking some of what we're talking about into consideration, because to be totally honest with you, any art program, the interpretation of your technology, that is an algorithm to make whatever you're drawing a reality on your computer.
I want to see a company be like, from now on, you cannot use a computer to create it. You must actually handwrite your notes. We want to actually see them have a picture of your handwritten stories. The only way we'll accept it going forward. We need
you to screen capture as you're writing. We need both.
Oh, that's artificial intelligence, because it's now transcribing what you're writing into computer language.
Fine. We will require you to record yourself via VHS cassette, which you have to mail in with your submission.
Now we're talking, sir. Yeah, it will be very interesting to see what happens, especially like when you start talking content that's created like by third-party creators in that gray area. I mean, even with writing, right? Like, the way they phrased writing prompts was very interesting to me. Mm-hmm. I know it was very hyperbolic with the filter. I totally
right. No,
but when it comes to the writing prompt, that actually really that one actually makes me question. Because like, if I'm actually writing something, like a writing prompt to me is actually a very useful tool because it kind of gives, it's not like a writing prompt in my mind. It's not like writing the story. It's like giving me an idea. Okay. And then I springboard off of it. It's almost like the analogy to me of like, if you're writing a research paper, you go to Wikipedia, and you're not using like Wikipedia as your source. You're looking at the little footnotes and you go to that for your sources.
Right.
Would kind of be my analogy. So the idea of the writing prompt was actually kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think to me at least, the intent of using a writing prompt is it's not auto-filling my story. It's giving you an idea of like what you could do with your story. So kind of two very different ways of looking at that.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, I mean, like Wizards of the Coast, because they're very much in the same position of having this type of content. What kind of stance are they going to take on it? I mean, I know, because when you look, especially, I know it's a very different interaction, but like tech companies, they love AI. I mean, they want them to rewrite the code for all of us.
Oh, absolutely.
It eliminates people and headcount. And probably does a better job than humans in a lot of cases, if we're being honest. So even based on your profession and what you're doing, is what is an AI? I think to me, the big thing with something like a story or the art, because I've seen it argued that basically if I can't tell the difference between like an AI and a human artwork, then what does it really matter if the AI is creating it? And I think on in a purely, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word. There's a word, I can't think of it, but it takes the human part out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a large part of the beauty of art, being it, you know, the drawing art or the stories, is, you know, there's a human behind it. Like that's kind of the human relationship part of it. I mean, we've been to conventions a number of times, and a big part of that is it's not just, oh, this is a book I never heard. It's that human relationship you build with it. Like when I go to a Dragon Con and I buy art, it's because I've met that artist. So there's 100%, like, yes, I totally get it. AI can create the same art. We don't think there's much denying that. But a part of the beauty of art, median as a whole, is that human element. I think it's still like with actors. That's why, you know, outside of with like Tom Cruise in his acting, I mean, he's, you know, with the whole idea of Mission Impossible and Top Gun is, yes, you could have AI actors doing this stuff and it would cost you no money. But people go to see for that human relationship of an actual real person doing the stuff, not just a, you know, Jar Jar Binks that's animated CGI'd in. That's not what we want to see. So I think that's, to me, that's kind of the big thing with this whole AI is we still want that human face behind the art consumption that we're consuming.
Right. Yeah. And we will see, you know, the thing is that I've seen some of like the AI generated stuff. It's cool, but I also understand, you know, that this is taking a huge chunk out of humans' pockets because, you know, people are able to like, you know, basically fast track shit with minimal effort.
Well, so I wonder what happened like at conventions. Like, is there going to be like a litmus test to be like, do you actually draw? Because right now, like we go and we see artists, you're assuming that they are the ones drawing that, or their friend drew it, because that happens sometimes.
Right.
And they're just there. But like we were pretty good faith understanding that like those artists are the one actually creating that content. And I wonder if there's going to be any kind of like from the, you know, convention owners or whatever, if there's going to be any kind of like, you know, show me you actually made this going forward, or is it just going to be like, whatever?
Yeah.
Because that's the whole point of conventions. It's like the human part.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Speaking of which, a little bit of sad news about MomoCon. Noodle Boy will not be there as he is moving to Utah. So, sad day. However, we'll try to find a way to get in contact with Noodle Boy and, you know, have him do something. So
Oh, well, good for him. I mean, I've seen the news, and it's what he wants to do. So
yeah,
it's a huge perk for him to move on to what he is doing. Will only lead to bigger and better things.
exactly. So the next story that we have, Zealeus actually posted this one for us. So Level 5, which has a ton of amazing games underneath their umbrella, has just released a trailer for a brand new Professor Layton. I love me some Professor Layton. It's basically you have every Professor Layton game. There's a mystery in the center of it, and then you have to solve all these like logic puzzles in order to advance the story. This one, however, features more of his child sidekick than Professor Layton, at least in the trailer. The new Professor Layton is going to be called Professor Layton and the New World of Steam, which I will probably have to get whenever it is released. It is being developed for the Switch, which I'm trying to think. In the past, it's always been the Nintendo handheld, so this will be interesting to see it on the Switch. However, I don't think there's going to be like some huge leap between the 3DS version or the DS version and the Switch version.
I mean, the beautiful thing though about the Professor Layton games is, I mean, they're cute graphics, but it's about the gameplay.
Absolutely.
So I think that's one of those games where, like, obviously you want to look nice, of course, but like you're playing it for, like you said, the puzzles and the gameplay. That's why you're playing those Professor Layton games. So,
well, I think to be honest with you, I think the one improvement, and it already really worked on the handhelds, was that you could probably get even more robust cutscenes in there, which would be pretty cool as well. Though their art style isn't, it's not like processor maxing to begin with. But I'm excited. I want to see what they make, and I want to jump back into a Professor Layton game to exercise my brain muscles.
Oh, I know you will be getting into it, and it'll be glorious.
Indubitably. So, but exciting news. I feel like there was a Layton game on the.
There's one on the iOS.
Yeah, but it wasn't really. It was like a Layton-esque game. It was like the Layton brothers or something. It's like Professor Layton, Herschel Layton's like brothers, and it wasn't really, the same thing. It was just the kind of like puzzles.
Not the true version.
Yeah, not the. This is, there's a mysterious thing that's going on. We have to solve it. That's what's at the top of the list. It's more of a, here's some other puzzles we found.
Yeah.
So, okay. So many of you out there probably know that there is this thing called esports. Esports, of course, is basically individuals going into tournaments, playing certain games, and trying to win them for the big cash prize. First off,
prize? I want prizes.
First of all, I did not know that my alma mater, Winthrop University, they won the Rocket League title for the Big South Conference. So congratulations to Winthrop. But also, there has been some news that's come out about the latest Smash Brothers game, and for the competitive play, there is going to be one character that's going to be permabanned from all competitive play, and that is a DLC character by the name of Steve from Minecraft. And the reason why is that there is some really weird glitches with Steve, and I'm going to try to, gosh darn it, I'm going to try to give you a little bit of breakdown here. So basically, the logistics of banning the strategy are complicated. If you choose to let players continue to use Steve in competitive tournaments, but don't allow players to willfully use the glitches, Monitoring matches where the character is used becomes a massive time commitment. It requires the players to save a replay of their exchange and for an organizer to view and verify that the Steve player is breaking the rules and then ultimately making the call of the legality of play, which is why they have now just banned it, because who in the hell wants to watch a bunch of, competitive battles when people use Minecraft Steve, and then have to basically go into that gray area of, did he use the glitch? Because basically, okay, let's see here. The glitch is associated with his recoil animation that allows him to recover at a faster rate than other characters in the game, meaning he can break combos that should otherwise work with other players and retaliate before his opponent can even attack. And we lost Zealeus. This isn't an intentional part of the character's toolset, but rather an unfortunate tech workaround that worked in the player's favor. So the other problem is that there's no longer any releases, updates going to this game. So it's not like the developers can put in a fix to make Steve less OP'd.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense that if there's a major glitch going on like that, to make it a even level playing field.
Mm-hmm.
And it probably doesn't behoove anyone to have this, sounds like would be a super convoluted process for determining whether or not somebody used a glitch or not.
Yeah.
Does not seem like a worthwhile investment of anyone's time. So it just seems like it was the most logical sense just to ban them. And that way it's a level playing field across the board.
Yeah. I mean, there's been, I guess, some character bans in other games simply because of a new, actually, this is probably one of the reasons why competitive games usually are maybe either they're a patch ahead of everyone or they're a patch behind, because when you release a patch right before a huge competition, there are chances for things to go a little bit out of whack. It's not been, yes, it has been tested in-house, but when you have millions of people who are actually playing the game and them finding, the quirks in the system, it's like that Halo, I think was it Halo 1 or Halo 2, where there was a way to basically rig the system that would literally shoot you across from one side of the map to the other.
It sounds like a very useful skill. You're just really good at moving fast.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, of course.
I, too, can break the sound barrier as a human.
Yes, of course. But of course. But, to be honest with you, I think that's the one Smash character that I never actually purchased, because I just was like, wow, Steve from Minecraft. Why would I ever want Steve from Minecraft?
I played Smash once, so I'm not very helpful. I was not very good.
Well, the thing is, my youngest is a huge Smash player.
Oh.
And so, yeah. So he has asked me a couple times to get that character. I'm like, no, we're good.
Are you going to train him up so he can become the new esports and he can go represent Woo at the next esports something?
Well, I mean, he's got to, hone some more skills, but he can hold his own in a lot of the games.
They got scholarships and that stuff nowadays.
No, I know. And maybe by the time he gets to college, there'll be that perfect game for him. But for now, he is not a pushover when it comes to Smash Ultimate. Let's just put it that way.
Can he beat you?
Sometimes.
Nice.
If it's a if it's like a match where you've got infinite lives, then there is a chance that he could sneak by me.
Oh, there you go.
Mm-hmm. So, but yeah. Banned character. All right. So, as many of you know, HBO Max had this huge, cutting of a ton of shows. A lot of them being DC related. and it appears that one of the shows that was cut is being saved by Amazon because, of course, any smart streaming service that sees a ton of potentially awesome content getting flushed down the toilet is probably going to jump on the opportunity if they've got the capital to do so. That being said, the show that they are saving, that Amazon is saving, is a show called Batman Cape Crusader. It is an animated series by J.J. Abrams, Matt Reeves, and Bruce Timm. And Amazon is promising 2 seasons. It was, I mean, HBO Max is just, that whole debacle has just killed things.
I feel like that's a lot of streaming right now. Not just HBO Max, but like also in these news of like Star Wars is doing this, but it's not doing that. And we're canceling this, but this, like, it seems like a lot of these major franchises like are just in a whole lot of flux right now.
Yeah.
And of course you got streaming where like stuff is being, it feels like canceled left and right. But I do feel like you mentioned, which I love the idea of, where Amazon's like, yeah, we're going to do 2 seasons. And we've definitely entered that zone with Netflix where nobody watches the first season because they know it's going to be canceled. And we've talked about it's the perpetual cycle. I wonder what happened. Like, they're releasing a show and they're like, they'll be 2 years apart because that's a normal filming cycle, but there will be 2 seasons of this show. Like me, that would actually incentivize me a lot more to watch that first season.
Right.
Be like, oh, sweet. I know it's going to be around. I will watch that because I know I could stick around for it. They're probably not going to do that because now you have a CEO or some exec has to, commit a lot of dollars that they're not going to because then they lose their bonuses. But to me, that would definitely incentivize me to watch some of these shows. I just kind of skip otherwise.
Yeah, I totally understand. Speaking of Amazon Prime, the show, oh my gosh. Now, of course, Vox Machina.
Yep.
From Critical Role. I just watched the second season. Actually, I watched the first season over just so that I could remember everything. And then I watched the second season, and it's still good. It's literally what a bunch of like voice actors and actresses you would think they would do while playing Dungeons and Dragons, but they, instead of going, I roll a D6 to do this, in the animated thing is like he tries to unlock the door. But it's got that adult humor. There is one gnome that is a sex crazed maniac.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really good. I will fully admit that I was skeptical at first, but after watching the first season, I was like, okay, cool. Hope there's a second season. Of course, the second season is now completely out. I think the whole thing became available at the end of January this year. And so if you have Amazon Prime, I highly recommend that you watch Vox Machina.
Somewhat similar, but I finally watched the other day Knights of Badassdom. It was entertaining. I think it was on Amazon Prime. And basically, it's LARPing gone real. If you've not seen it,
nothing quite like that. Oh,
it was fun, but it started with D&D.
Yep.
So it's just like based on the D&D universe.
What was that show? Or no, not I think it's like the group was called like the Dead Gentlemen, and it was like, I can't remember what they. Oh no! It was basically Dungeons. They were sitting around playing Dungeons and Dragons, and then it switched into them basically doing the. They basically were LARPing the rest of the time, but kind of like it in their mind, huh?
Stranger Things.
No, not Stranger Things, but
I know that's not what you meant. I don't know.
I'm seeing if I could pull it up real quick here. It's just called The Gamers. The Gamers Dorkness Rising was the second one. So
Not to be confused with The Gamer with Jake Gyllenhaal.
was that Gyllenhaal? I thought that was Gerard Butler.
Oh, sorry. The other generic big white guy.
All right, Gerard Butler.
You're probably right.
That was something.
I mean, it wasn't a bad movie.
No, but it wasn't like I've got to watch this like a bajillion times. It was not a classic, a masterpiece.
It was a movie.
Huh?
It was a movie.
Yes, it was a movie.
I mean, it's worth a one watch.
Yes. That would be one of those rent it or stream it for free on a service. Don't buy it. Which unfortunately I bought it back then. So
I think there's actually only like 2 movies coming out in the next year I actually care about seeing in the theaters live.
I'm trying to think if there's anything that's really screaming at me.
Mission Impossible 7.
Uh-huh.
And John Wick 4.
Okay, I could see John Wick 4. I have completely dropped out of watching Mission Impossible. It's just too much now. I can't do it.
So it's over the top. It's actually well done. Like it's well done over the topness is how I would put it. I enjoy it a lot. I think it's better than Bond.
Well,
at this point.
The thing is like all these movies that have gotten like deep into like the sequels, it's just I'm like, okay.
Well, then you have Fast X.
Jesus, why?
From street racers stealing DVD players to super spies flying into space in their vehicles.
Yeah. I don't. Good Lord.
Just when you go watch any Fast and Furious, just remove your brain at the door, and you'll enjoy it much more.
It's not going to make sense. I don't think it's made any sense since Tokyo Drift.
Yep, that's about right. Well, even the second one is when I remember they had a car going off a ramp and landing on a boat.
Of course. That happens all the time, Zealeus.
I mean, that is how I got home tonight, but still, I'm kind of awesome. I don't expect other people to be able to do the same thing.
Touche, sir. Touche. I will allow you your awesomeness with no rebuttal. But
no rebuttal needed. It speaks for itself.
Exactly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we want to pause just real quick to thank all these amazing people who help Alter Confusion be the best that they can be. And so we have some friends of the show that we want to give some shout-outs to. The first friend of the show that we've got to give a shout-out to is the Indie Cluster. The Indie Cluster is an organization of independent game developers that want to gain exposure by being involved in the community. They collectively journey to popular conferences as a traveling booth to help gain attention for their games. They make partnerships in local communities to bring games to the mainstream mindset. They highlight local, unusual, and rare concepts that challenge the paradigm of the common. They also host events to teach kids and minority groups about game development to hopefully one day enter the industry themselves. For more information, go to indiecluster.com. Now, we alluded earlier that this gentleman is on his way to Utah, but that doesn't mean he's no longer a supporter of Alter Confusion. That, of course, is Noodle Boy Media. Founded in 2015 by Andrew Tran, Noodle Boy Media, previously Wet Kid 47 Media, is your choice for professional photo shoots and panel recordings at conventions. They pride themselves in providing a high level of professionalism, top-notch experiences, and quality services. If you want more information and to view their full list of services, check out facebook.com/noodleboymedia. Oh my gosh, it helps if I actually did the freaking image. Good job, Charlie. We
got the chat message. We're halfway there.
There you go. That's Noodle Boy Media's logo. Okay, now moving on. The next one is Hero Chiropractic. Hero Chiropractic is a unique healthcare practice set up by Ryan Moore. The company's focus to elevate a patient's experience of freedom, creative expression, and joy. They believe that everyone can be a hero and has incredible heroic potential inside themselves waiting to be unleashed. Hero Chiropractic focuses on mobile chiropractic care in the greater Atlanta area. They're committed to healing clients by creating a plan of action uniquely suited for each person. They make that plan of action as convenient and affordable as possible, and most importantly, suited to your individual needs. If you want more information, go to herochiropractic.com. Now, the next one we got to do is the gentleman who helped us out of a maybe legal bind because all of our music magically became copyrighted overnight. That, of course, is CrossPad Creative. Need a new logo or want to work on a full branding and content strategy? Or maybe you need music or audio for your content, just like Alter Confusion. CrossPad Creative offers a whole host of solutions for individuals and small businesses. Just email Josh at crosspadcreative@gmail.com and see what he can do for you. The last shout out we got to give is to basically the OG of fans and supporters of Alter Confusion. That, of course, is Agile Axiom. By day, Axe leads both a development team and system administration team working with satellites at NASA's Goddard campus. But while not in meetings and many times during, he is the Agile evangelist Agile Axe, championing the philosophy of Agile and trying to make the world a better place for software developers, testers, system admins, and software projects the world over. Decades of experience in software development and leading Agile teams are brought to bear against evil processes, inefficient work, and bad habits. For more information, go to agileaxiom.com. Also, check out his book. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now that we've given you the shout-outs, we also have to do the Alter Confusion shout-outs because I know you guys are just dying to find out, how do I become a supporter of the Alter Confusion awesomeness? And so, if I have the dang... Okay, here we go. Sorry, I lost my actual printout, so I'm having to pull it up in a document. All right, so... If you want to
lost real paper?
Yeah,
what?
I know, crazy. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, Alter Confusion survives on love and support of fans like you, and so we have a Patreon page. Patreon lets you, the fans, lovers, haters, demons, demigods, interdimensional beings, aliens, werewolves, mummies, vampires, and so much more, to become active participants in the work we love through a monthly membership. This gives you access to exclusive content, community, and insight into our creative process. In exchange, we gain a bit more freedom to do our best work and the stability we need to build an even stronger creative career. We currently have two tiers. We have the $1 a month tier or the $12 a year tier, and what that will get you is early access to our playthroughs, as well as the ability to partake in Patreon-only polls and posts for Alter Confusion. If you're feeling a little bit frisky, you can jump up to the $5 a month or $60 a year tier, and not only will you get everything at the $1 tier, but you'll also gain your name or organization added to our thank you section of every single Thursday night hangout. So if you want to be a patron today, all you got to do is go to Patreon. That's patreon.com/Altered Confusion. Now, I will say that we did change up the billing method. Instead of you signing up and then getting billed at the end of the month, Patreon has changed their ways. And so as soon as you say, I pledge this, it immediately takes that money for the first month. So you're immediately paying instead of at the end of the month. So just a heads up for that, for those who are on the fence. If you feel like, I do want to do the $5, but I'm not sure if I'm ready for it, but you still want to be a patron, you can sign up at the $1 level and it will automatically hit the $1. And then if you want more, you can, of course, push it up to the $5 level next month.
Nice.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, Alter Confusion is happy to report that for the 12th year straight, I think. Are we at 12
so many
now?
years?
I think it's 12, isn't it? I can't remember. Anyways, Alter Confusion is proud to say that we once again are going to be fundraising for Extra Life. Extra Life is gamers doing what they do best, game, to help sick and injured children at their chosen Children's Miracle Network Hospital. The money that we raise through Extra Life will go directly to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta as unrestricted funds. This means that the hospital decides where and how to spend the money to ensure the dollars we raise make the biggest impact in the lives of the kids they treat. So if you have the capacity to donate, please go to extra-life.org and search for Altered Confusion.
Yes.
And it is now, we now have our page, or I have my page. I
You
don't
have a
remember.
page?
I do. Let's see here.
I think you're lying.
No, I'm pretty sure I got it. Hold on. There it is. Go to this one. Dashboard. Uno momentos, por favor. It is... Yep, my 12th year straight. All right, here we go. Shazam. Anywho.
Oh, weird. The search wasn't showing up like an hour ago. I'm so confused.
You know what? I wonder if... Hold on.
It's working now. I can see it now.
Okay. Weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, so yes, we are doing Extra Life for the 12th straight year. Huzzah! And apparently we are already at
$50.
$50. Sweet.
50. Got
50.
50.
50. So yeah. So we're doing Extra Life again. All right, ladies and gentlemen. The next story we've got to talk about, it has to do with food and a highly anticipated game. Ladies and gentlemen, KFC and Diablo 4 beta team have teamed up for a promotion.
What? I'm so confused already.
Activision Blizzard is teaming up with the fried chicken purveyor KFC to help you grease your way into the upcoming beta on PC and console for Diablo 4. All you need to do to get access to the beta is order a double down sandwich from KFC.com or their delivery app. No one says you have to eat it. Simply buy the sandwich. We'll grant you a code, which you just plug into Battle.net account. Then the beta runs from March 17th to March 20th. As far as anyone could tell, this is only for the U.S. and Canada. And the Double Down Sandwich, for those interested, is basically it's a fried chicken breast with cheese and bacon with another fried chicken breast. So there is no bread. The bread is fried chicken breast. So you get two of those with cheese and bacon in the middle.
So I'm actually I'm not interested in the sandwich, but I'm actually interested in Diablo 5. But here's what annoys me. So I'm going to take Path of Exile as an example because it's cross-platform. I can play it on my PS5 and my PC. I enjoyed the gaming from like my nice couch chair over there on the PS5, my screen TV. It's glorious. The problem is when you start getting like the minutia of like inventory management, always becomes a pain in the ass with the console, with the controller. It just So like what I would do a lot of times is like I would basically get up and just switch like, oh, I'm gonna hop on my PC, do some stuff. All right, now I gotta try a PS5, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a game like Path of Exile is free to play, so it worked out fine. But then you take a game like Diablo 5, and it's not just Diablo 5. All the games do this.
Yeah.
Where you have multiple platforms online. Guess what? If we want to do what I'm just talking, I haven't looked, but I'm going to guess it's cross-platform save. But if you're going to do that, I guarantee you're going to have to buy that in each of the platforms, which that's where it's like, come on, guys.
Yep.
Like, I know they're not going to,
no,
but it would be nice if you could like buy a license and be like, all right, I want this both on my PC and my console. Would it pretty freaking cool?
It would be, but however, someone would immediately game the system and say,
oh, I know it's
my
not
console is actually Billy Bob's console.
Yeah, I know it's not. But I would love that. But
oh yeah.
Yeah. But again, yeah, I did see that. Yeah. And then they also have open beta March 24th through the 26th. Which I will be keeping my eyes on because that's when like, or not you and I, because we're not doing it, but like regular people reviews will actually be coming out that period of time. And that's what I'm actually interested in is like, what do all the other normal video game reviewers have to say about Diablo? Because everything I've seen so far sounds like they're actually doing some new and interesting things as far as the hack and slash genre goes. My interest is definitely peaked.
Yep.
We'll see what happens. And of course, the big question is the monetization.
Yeah.
Which has not been announced. So that's also the big, like, what is that going to look like? Because it's Activision EA, so you know it's coming.
Yes. Now that I remembered that we really did do any shows last month, there was a story that was posted mid-February that I do want to kind of circle back on, and that is that it has been announced that there will be a TellTale game, so basically episodic game, based on The Expanse, the TV series. Which, of course,
the TV series, not the books.
Right. Well, actually, so
they are different.
Right. No, it's going to be the game is going to be centered around Kamina Drummer.
Okay.
So it's from the TV series.
Well, she was in the books too. But
right. No, but you're also got the voice actress.
Oh, cool.
Yep. So, or actually,
I thought she was one of those. Did you watch the TV series?
So I watched a little bit of it, and then when, I always get so confused between, because there was two shows that came out about the same time, and I watched a little bit of The Expanse, but I also watched Dark Matter.
Yeah.
And so
I could see that. I could see that.
So it's kind of jumbled in my head. I need to go back and watch The Expanse because I think didn't Amazon Prime pick up The Expanse to like finish off the series?
It went through 5 seasons on Amazon Prime.
Oh well, there you go. Well, shit,
I've also watched Dark Matter too.
I'm way behind. Let's just put it that way. So
I feel like Kamina Drummer is one of those who like she wasn't really around much in the first season or two ish. I feel like she became a very popular fan character, and then once the showrunners realized, like from a fan perspective, she was popular. All of a sudden, she became much more prominent in the show. And she's a great actress and character in the show without saying anything else. So that was a welcome addition. But I feel like she was definitely one of those where you could see, like, all of a sudden the showrunners were like, wait a second, we have something here. But Dark Matter is also a fun TV series.
Speaking of TV series, the one of the individuals behind The Witcher for Netflix came out and had an opinion on Cavill, basically saying he was beyond annoying to work with because he was like an overly fanboy, annoying with his critiques, which we kind of knew. We knew that he was a super Witcher fanboy, but now someone in a position of power has finally said, yeah, he was difficult to work with because he was so much of a fanboy.
Do we even have to comment on this? Because I'm just gonna like punch my screen in anger.
I know.
It makes me so angry. Just
yes.
Just the sheer disconnect between like people sitting up in their ivory towers in basically reality. Yeah, it's just mind-boggling.
Oh, I totally agree.
And that's not even right. It's just like everyone hears that and they're like, yeah, that was the whole point of him being in the show.
I'm sorry, you wanted a disinterest actor to play your lead role? Okay.
I have a feeling that's probably what most showrunners and directors want because they want to be the czar of the show. They want to be the name, and the actor is just there to fulfill the director or showrunner's whims, not the other way around.
Well, yeah. Anyways,
that's what it feels like, unfortunately, sometimes. But of course, we will have Warhammer 40K with Henry Cavill coming out
sometime in
eventually.
The future. Yeah. To circle back real quick, the Expanse of TellTale game, It is supposed to be released summer of 2023. So later this year.
I thought TellTale was the one that shut down.
So TellTale did shut down. However, their properties still exist. I want to say Gearbox. Somebody bought up their property and has continued.
So they're releasing Expanse under the TellTale name because it's a known name.
Quantity, yep.
But it's not the actual original company.
No.
Okay,
yep.
That makes sense.
Yep.
I mean, it doesn't, but it does.
Right. Well, it makes financial business sense.
No, it makes marketing sense because most people, the majority of gamers don't actually know that TellTale shut its doors.
Yes, which is
they're just going to see, oh, TellTale, cool. They're the great, point and click adventure company. And I'm sure you'll find out if it's true or not because you play point and click adventure games.
Well, I mean, I've played a ton of TellTale games as well.
I know. But I guess the curious thing is because Gearbox, they put out some pretty good games over the years.
Yeah.
So I'll be curious to see if, Gearbox actually creates a good game out of this. Because didn't they also do Tales of the Borderlands?
Yep.
Yeah, so Gearbox at least has experience in that area.
Yeah.
So it's not like if it was like Activision, I'd be like, no, it's just going to be
EA. Or Ubisoft even.
Yeah.
But, Yep.
So interesting.
Indeed, it's something that I will definitely be keeping an eye on. But speaking of TV shows and on streaming networks or services, there we go, services, I stumbled upon a new show on Netflix, and I have to say that it is really effing creepy, and at the same time makes me, if the shit that happened in the show were to actually start happening in real life, I would throw away my phone. Basically, it's called Red Rose, and it is about an app that will magically appear on your phone, and once you start interacting with it, it starts off it starts off basically giving you the moon, and then it basically erodes everything from you because this app actually takes control of everything. It can, if you type in a text message to someone, upon hitting send, it will send a different text message. It will post random stuff from your phone onto like social media platforms, trying to cause chaos and rifts to occur. It is messed up. Yeah.
What's it called? Red Rose?
Red Rose.
I don't know. I just got done watching the last season of The Librarians on Amazon.
Ah, nice. I watched the first season of Lockwood & Co., and I don't know what the fuck I just watched.
But coming out in 1 week is season 2 of Shadow and Bone on Netflix.
Actually, what I'm really looking forward to is tomorrow for the Luther movie on Netflix.
Ooh.
Yeah. Idris Elba reprising his role as DC Luther. I'm on. That's me. I will watch that.
Nice.
I loved Idris Elba and Luther. And hell, I love.
Never saw it.
It's good. It's gritty. He's basically the kind of cop or detective that closes the cases by any means. And he definitely paints outside the lines.
So like a Punisher almost.
Yeah, except he doesn't have that big of a body count like the Punisher. But
fair enough.
Not
many do.
Yeah, not many do. But yeah, I'm excited because I've been dying to see some more Luther. So, yeah. Let's see here. We started a little bit late, so okay, we'll have one more topic and then we'll wrap it up. The final topic has to do with collectible card games. Collectible card games, be it the traditional cards that you're actually holding in your hands, or the digital card game. Now, as many of you know, with collectible card games, the physical ones, when changes had to be made to cards, they had to literally just reprint them, and you'd have to randomly get them in the in your booster pack, or if you buy a new deck. Of course, with digital cards, the developer can literally just upload or update the entire thing and change everything on the fly. So my question for you, Zealeus, is which version or which way of things would you enjoy the most in a collectible card game?
Well, I mean, the card game one is tricky. The physical card game one is tricky because remember when we would go to like Magic tournaments, they would have rules based on the editions because, to your point, you could have certain card combinations that basically ruin the game. They're basically hacks. So there's definitely, they had like banned card list, and then they also had like certain generations were like the only ones allowed for certain tournaments. And I don't play a lot of online CCGs, but I imagine it's not too dissimilar, where I'm guessing some of like the tournaments and stuff, like you could probably only use cards from certain generations of cards. Is that true for like Legends of Runeterra? Like,
no, they literally will rewrite the card.
Well, I think that's different. Okay, so think of like Magic the Gathering, right? Let's just go back to Magic, and like you and I are playing, right?
Yeah.
Well, like I could still have my old like OG, alpha beta cards with original text, and that's what's going to play because that's what I have. Like I have my $10,000 card, but by God, I'm going to play it, and hopefully you don't spill your beer on it. I don't care. But it's a little bit interesting though with electronic CCG games because like people are paying for what was probably that original intent of that card. Sometimes a not insignificant amount of money, and now all of a sudden your competitive advantage from that card gets changed by the developer. That's a tricky one because it's like, I get it. Like you have to update for competitive balance, especially if it like ruins the game for all the other players.
Yeah.
But a little bit of me is like, I don't know. Like if you want to ban like, it's almost like you could do like a Magic. You just like open format, bring your cards. They don't give a shit. And like, if you had the original card that you got, you can bring that with the original text.
Right.
It's kind of like it would be like physical cards, right? The way you originally had it, that's the way you had it. Or maybe the players presented with an option for like, this card stays the original format that you can use like playing against the AI or like open formats, or you can choose to update to the new version. It's like a one choice option or something. I don't know. I that's a tough one when they're changing that card. They are probably going to its original format, but I guess it's not really, if you think about it, like too dissimilar from a game like any MOBA. And you think about it, like they're always making balance changes to your favorite characters that you didn't want them to, but they're doing it for competitive balance reasons, and it's a PvP game. So in a way, it's not too dissimilar from that style.
Right.
Where you're not going to have like multiple versions of the same character running around.
I mean, you're right. I mean, I think that it is kind of fun to have like the older version of the cards that combined with other cards makes like uber powerful. Like there, going way back in time, there's a swamp card called Frozen Shade. And in the early ones, you could pay one swamp and the Frozen Shade would increase +1/+1. And in later versions, they did +1/+1 till end of turn. So
it was like one swamp to do it. It was like super cheap.
And so you could have this uber powerful Frozen Shade after a while, or you could have the wussy version, which you could pump it up a little bit, but then you would lose all of it the very next turn.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. Like, if you're going to a tournament, you're obviously not going to use the original, which I get. But if you're just playing around with your friends, then cool. But at the end of the day, you do have to create a competitive balance because nobody wants to play, because you would also kill your audience base if you're allowing players to play with the original frozen shade against everyone else, because that would just make it unfun for the other 98% of your players.
Right. And I think the other thing is that with the digital card games, especially like Legend of Runeterra, where there are new cards coming out, by basically altering some of the cards to either change their cost or their stats, it kind of forces the individual to have to rethink their deck. And so that kind of increases the chance that an individual will try a more wider variety of cards.
Yep.
Instead of
kind of update the meta. It's like we see in. Remember how long we were lambasting Overwatch 2 or Overwatch 1, I should say, because like it was the same characters with the same abilities and the same everything. It became stale.
Yep.
I suppose it'd be no different than CCG if everything was just the same. So. Yeah, I guess at the end of the day, it makes sense that they would update all the cards. But there's a little bit like I almost wish they could almost do like, you update the card. There's almost like a marking on the card, so you play it. It's like, I had the original. Kind of like in Magic, where like the art you can tell by like what edition was that based on the art style was always kind of cool to see.
Right. No, for those out there who want to know the first killer combo that was truly 100% outlawed in competitive Magic the Gathering tournaments, you would be a black card and an artifact. The black card is called Lich, and the artifact is called Mirror Image. Lich takes you down to 0 health, and as long as Lich is in play, you cannot die. And Mirror Image swaps your health with your opponent's health. So immediately it's a 1-2 punch because your opponent does not have Lich. Therefore, their HP goes down to 0. Game over, you win.
I actually have one of those cards.
I know, you have the Lich.
Sitting somewhere in my closet, which I really should sell. But yeah, it's sitting there.
It's very much outlawed.
That was one of those cards where like, I really wonder like what the card creators were thinking when they came up with that card, because it's super unique. Because if I remember right, like I haven't looked at the card in years, it basically swaps your health and mana and mana.
Yeah.
So that was like the idea. If like your mana ran out, that's how you basically could still lose the game.
Yeah. So.
Well, you still, yes, you're right. You had 0 health, but it was like every time you lost a health, you lost a mana. I think if I remember right.
Something like, when you got hit, you would lose mana.
Yeah.
But still.
That was fun.
Yeah. Fun times.
Those were the days.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we've reached the end of our show. So unless Zealeus have any closing thoughts?
Oh, it is a good day to be alive, sir.
All right, I like that. Be on the lookout for a review for, I think it's called Kina and the Bridge of Spirits, I think is the name of the game. It's a good game. It was a very good game. Made me sad. Anyways, but until then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Zealeus, it's been a pleasure getting ready to come our heads, our mouths, and of course, our hearts. We'll be back next Thursday for another Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother.